Welcome back to the Live for Life podcast. I'm here with G Turkey.
Why not G Dog?
You've got something on your head.
It's Christmas.
It is the Christmas special.
So I had to get rid of my Under Armour cap and
Yeah.
replace it with a turkey.
And do you like my hat?
I can't. Is it a reindeer?
Yes.
But it's like, yeah, that's better.
Is that better?
Well, the reindeer keeps falling over.
But this is a really serious episode, isn't
Happy
it?
Christmas, Angus.
Happy Christmas. And everyone listening to this will be very much on the countdown to Christmas, which is very exciting.
We got a tree.
Yeah, that was a big investment for you, wasn't it?
£6.
Yeah, and where did you get it from?
Waitrose around the corner. It's a very, very expensive, high-quality tree. And if it was any bigger, I wouldn't be able to see you. So I had to get a small one. But the podcast studio told me that people might not be able to tell it's a Christmas tree. So I had to actually say it's a Christmas tree.
That's probably, it looks like you've just gone into the park and just got a twig and chucked it. But anyway, how are you this evening, G-Dog?
I'm just so hyped up for Christmas. It's one of my favourite times of the year because I get to do my 6 a.m. Christmas morning run.
Which is iconic.
And it was all designed by you, and we discussed it in previous year's Christmas podcast, and it's just awesome, and you have to carry on doing it.
Absolutely.
But I thought we'd start, it's a good way to think about Christmas, by thinking about the cool things we've done in 2025.
Wow.
And I'll start with some of my highlights. Now, obviously, the highlights are going to be very Live for Life skewed highlights.
Okay.
There's broad highlights because I think I've caught you off guard by saying
ever so slightly, which will make it quite fun.
So I'm going to have to, and obviously many of my Live for Life highlights you were involved in. So it'll be reminding you why they're highlights. And obviously if they're highlights for me, they must be highlights for you, right? So we started 2025. We started 2025 with obviously High Rocks training because our High Rocks.
I was about to say High Rocks was pivotal.
Literally, High Rocks was it like the second week of January?
Yeah, and we won as well.
Yeah, because it was immediately after you went skiing, right? Because I was petrified that you were going to have a massive accident skiing. And this was going to mess up High Rocks.
You were only petrified because every time you went skiing, you had an accident.
That's true. So you survived the ski trip, but unfortunately I had an accident just before Christmas. So I had my calf injury, which affected High Rocks. But nevertheless, High Rocks was a huge upside surprise for both of us. We thought it was going to be great, but it was even better than we thought. So tell me, what was your favorite bit about High Rocks?
I think it was a real catalyst to do things that scare you slightly and just really throw yourself into more things that you wouldn't usually do. And not that I don't do that quite regularly. The impact it had across the whole year was actually quite dramatic. And I don't know how I'm saying this seriously with this on my head. This is the thing. I was actually like, we're going to do this fun Christmas special. And G-Dog's obviously been like, right, we're going to do some pretty deep questions. And I've got a bloody reindeer on my head. And he's got a turkey. So, okay, High Rocks was, fantastic. But do things that A, surprise you and B, scare you.
And you are surprising and scaring me at this moment, Angus.
Hang on.
So what's the second thing? After High Rocks, what's another highlight of the year? There's a very big highlight in the summer, which you're definitely going to discuss in a second. But before we discuss that, what's the other highlight of the year that doesn't involve the summer event?
Does it have to be Live for Life focused?
It could be anything.
Interestingly enough, again, one of those things that you necessarily for some people wouldn't do, but it was when we all ran into the ocean on that evening. I remember it so vividly when all the lads, we had been out all afternoon, the sun was setting on Constantine Bay, and we behaved like kids. And I think it's reiterating that message actually right now. People take themselves far too seriously, and actually the joy in life comes from the moments when you behave like you did when you were a kid.
Exactly.
And I think I wish more people would do that. And like we are right now with these hats, take what you do seriously, but don't take yourself so seriously. I think it's a pivotal message.
Yeah, for me, I mean, one of the other ones was actually deciding to extend summer. So a highlight was dancing.
Is that because you're God and you can...
dancing on the roof of the Nobu Hotel in Ibiza in the middle of August. And that was so fun. And we'd just had dinner, me and my wife, at, I've forgotten the name of the restaurant, Casamacca. We'd been at Casamacca having dinner. And then we came down and we discovered that we didn't need to go to one of these massive out-of-town warehouse nightclubs because a massive party was happening on the roof of the hotel. And it was just a beautiful, hot evening, and it was amazing. So that's definitely a massive highlight. And then also, this really shocks me, but my camping trip in Kent. So I was absolutely dreading this because I hate camping. But it was a luxury campsite, so it wasn't as bad as it could have been. B, I'd bought a ridiculously big tent, which you could walk around in and had 2 bedrooms and a living room. And C, it was beautiful weather, which meant I was able to go sea swimming in Kent
yes.
before we went sea swimming in Cornwall. So I'd had the sort of practice sea swim, but Kent sea swimming was worse than Cornwall, but Kent seemed great. And so then Cornwall seemed unbelievable because the Kent one was loads and loads of stones. So again, that was definitely the idea of sea swimming in the UK English Channel and spending a weekend camping in a tent would be the usual absolute worst thing I could possibly imagine. But I ended up enjoying it.
Change of mindset as well. The old G wouldn't have done that.
I definitely wouldn't.
And you wouldn't have enjoyed it. So, yeah, I think another thing to take from 2025 is we spent a lot of time finding the positives in everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Which, not that we didn't do before, but I think it's something I stand by more than ever. I'm constantly on this hunt to find the positives in situations.
And the whole summer extension thing, I mean, obviously you can do it in quite an expensive way like you and I did and travel a lot and go to cool hotels. But you can also do it just by, in the UK, it could be in a tent. Just saying, okay, I'm going to start going away in May. And I'm going to spend Saturday, Sunday in May in the Lake District in the UK. Or obviously we did it in Barcelona.
I don't know where you're going with this extending the summer chat.
No, that's because your summer's always extended. This is the first.
Why is it always...
You're on holiday all the bloody time.
No.
Literally, it's ridiculous. Where are you going tomorrow?
Well, no.
You're going to Oman tomorrow,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
I mean, it's just like
it's not always on holiday, though.
This is almost November, and you're still going for sunny holidays. It's like constantly on holiday.
Oh,
but for
you
me,
have it tough, don't you?
For me, my holidays traditionally were a ski holiday around February time, a summer holiday of 2 weeks, and then maybe another holiday around October. But this year... I went on a lot of weekends away starting in May.
Great.
That's a big lesson. It's just like enjoy life consistently and don't just live for that 1-2 week holiday.
Probably better to say that rather than extend the summer. Because you basically make out... I didn't quite get that, but anyway. Anything else you'd like to add there, G-Dog?
I've really enjoyed our dog walks.
Yeah, actually. Yeah, that has been fantastic.
And some of them have been dog runs, or
yeah.
I've been slower than you, but yeah.
No, they've been good fun.
Walks.
Sunday, that's been absolutely pivotal.
Neat.
Yeah, I think investment in friendships more than ever before I've made, which has had a big impact on my friendships. I think it's been a real lesson this year is treating your friendships almost like relationships in terms of how much you invest in them. I think it's really overlooked, particularly in men. I think we have this front up a lot of the time and we don't kind of confess our love for the other person. I think it's essential to do that in male relationships, isn't it?
Yeah. It's really, really important. And I think also the other thing that I've done this year is pushing myself to failure a bit more. So that's something you've taught me, that when I'm in the gym, I wasn't pushing hard enough, and I've been pushing hard enough. That's been a really big positive for me as well. And then taking myself out of my comfort zone a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's vital. I think one thing I've done this year is really, things have been really positive from a friendship, business, relationship side of things. And I think there was a moment where I might have been coasting a tad for whatever reason. I was still enjoying things. I was still working hard. But with my own training, I think because I was so invested in my clients' training and my business was growing really positively and I was building more and more connections, I almost allowed my training to be slightly more lackluster than usual. And so investing in someone to work on my programming with me has again reiterated the importance of your own training pushing to failure, like every day doing something hard that makes you better. It's really overlooked. And no matter what shape you're in, always try and strive for better with your training.
Yeah, absolutely. And on that point, I think we're going to be going out, are we the Friday before Christmas?
Yes.
So we want people to think about Christmas and let it go, right? So it's very important not to have this pressure that, oh my God, it's Christmas. I've got to be careful. I'm going to eat too much food. It's going to make me unhealthy. It's really important to just be chill.
Yeah, exactly.
But you can do things also to make yourself feel good whilst indulging. And so what would you say would be your pre-Christmas routine? So as you get towards the sort of the Christmas Eve period, what are you changing? Anything you're doing in the gym? Are you doing anything in the gym that's unusual? What are you thinking about the sort of the few days before Christmas?
Doing what I do like I do the rest of the year, and that's focusing on the 80-20 rule. Obviously, the Christmas time will be very much my 20%, but the training stays the same. If anything, I eat more, I sleep more in that period. So my recovery is actually pretty good. Sure, alcohol intake might be higher than average, but I don't get absolutely smashed. But if you do, I think it's still so easy to train. I think you often actually have more time, if anything. I know, obviously, people with big families, it's different, but there are things that I follow all year round that don't change around Christmas. The diet side of things is the one thing that relaxes, but training, if anything, as I said, stays the same. But I also want to highlight, and I know there'll be people listening to this, and we say it every year, but you spoke about it, that 5K, 6 a.m. run that you do. I do mine a little bit more leisurely, probably more like 8:30, 9 o'clock. So if you want to join that club, you're welcome. But please join us for the Christmas Day 5K, AG Dog. It's just vital, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Another thing I enjoy doing on Christmas Eve, actually. I mean, some gyms close earlier on Christmas. I mean, most gyms close earlier on Christmas Eve. But you may be off work or you may be working on Christmas Eve. If you're working, generally you're going to be stopping around lunchtime. I like to go to the gym at lunchtime on Christmas Eve. It's a great atmosphere because everyone's happy. It's pre-Christmas. It's that sort of peak. By the time you get post-Christmas, everyone's sort of in a bit of a sort of hollow, and they've just stuffed themselves, etc. But I think the Christmas Eve training session is actually one of the funnest things because everyone's in there. And if you push yourself really hard, then it's almost like you feel like you've earned what you then do on Christmas Day because you've actually pushed yourself really hard. So my Christmas Day run is obviously the cardio thing. But the weights that I lift on Christmas Eve makes me feel like I've really sort of, I just started doing my pump cover. Maybe I've got to wear a full Santa Claus pump cover.
Have you purchased a better pump cover yet?
Not yet, no. I've got one, but it's still not quite as baggy as it should be.
Yeah, you did have one. And it's not a hoodie as well.
No, I know. Because, I thought just wearing the sort of sweatshirt baggy thing with a cap was the same thing, but it's not. I think it's got to be full hood over your head, right?
Yeah, exactly. You've got to look like a bit of a demon.
Yeah,
and then reveal.
Unrecognizable.
Yeah,
in case anyone spots me.
Exactly.
The pump.
I mean, maybe wear that hat as well. People probably won't recognize it.
I could wear this in the gym. Could be a problem when I'm doing the overhead presses, though. My turkey might hit my overhead press bar. But yeah, so I think that's important. The Christmas Day or Christmas Eve gym session is important. And I got some notes here, surprisingly. And I also looked at how you can sustain yourself through the day. I think a lot of families do this, but it is actually quite important, and that's walking on Christmas Day.
We do a Christmas Day walk, absolutely.
Yeah. So if you don't, maybe after the Christmas presents have been given out, if you've got kids in the morning, going for a walk straight after
also,
that.
cardio for wrapping paper. So
Explain.
if you're a father, and I did try and pitch this to Dad, but he wasn't interested last year. But effectively, what you can do is, you know how obviously the more often than not, I don't know if it's the same, but it'll either be mum or dad will be there with a bin bag ready to take on the wrapping paper.
Yes.
Set yourself a timer and see how quickly you can get all the wrapping paper in the bag.
When you're ripping the wrapping paper off the presents.
After a kid's ripped it,
yeah.
You go like dive, catch it, stop it from hitting the floor, get it in the bag, and see how quickly you can do it before.
Yeah, I remember in previous years we mismanaged this process. And so we'd be sitting in front of the fire in the living room, and there'd just be wrapping paper everywhere. It was very badly organised.
Yeah, you've got to do interval
but now,
training for the wrapping paper.
Absolutely, you've got 2 or 3 sort of bin captains who are there, and you can almost compete against each other about who can pick up the wrapping paper quickly and fill up their bag before the other people.
Exactly.
And the actual cardio involved in searching and grabbing the bits of paper is actually quite powerful.
And it can get quite aggressive as well.
Yeah.
So make sure you've done some kind of jiu-jitsu training beforehand
Yeah.
to prep you for these events, because obviously someone grabs paper, it then rips, that can cause a punch-up quite easily.
Yeah, so that's good and important. Then also, you could do another family walk, maybe between dinner or maybe the Christmas lunch and then the sort of light thing you have in the evening. So you could do another walk there, so 2 walks. And then games as well.
Exactly.
You're quite a big game
really
person, aren't
active.
you?
Yeah.
Aren't you a singing family as well?
Yes, I've got a good bellow on me. We do the 12 days of Christmas.
Where do you have you got a piano?
No, just bellow. It's just no
I just
music.
had this view of like Angus on the piano and all the family round singing.
No, we do the 12 days of Christmas. Do you want a quick rendition, or should I save that for?
Please.
5 gold rings.
Well, and every person has their own part to play.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that was a little... That
and you
would
were
be
always
first
5
round.
gold rings?
No, actually, my brother, well, both brothers do a very good rendition. That was probably... So obviously you go through it.
What's your favourite bit?
Ooh. 5 gold rings is quite iconic because you can really hold it.
Yeah.
And you can really go for the rings, which is very good.
Yes.
I hope you're impressed by that.
Very impressed.
But I...
4 calling birds.
Quite
maybe?
like 4 calling birds. That's a nice one. 3 French hens as well. You can go in. I like to get in early.
On the turtle doves, is that 2?
2 turtle doves. And then usually in my family, because I'm a Man City fan, I shout a partridge in a city.
That's so bad.
And then everyone goes,
you get Erling Haaland in there somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. But we'd have
Erling Haaland.
Actually, do you know what? I should do the 12 Days of Christmas Man City Player Edition. 12 Erling Haalands. That singing voice is actually not bad.
So good.
Thank you.
So the other thing is, during your meal, there's some critical things to do. So protein first.
Oh, absolutely.
So eat your turkey first before you have your potatoes, right? So then if your plate is massively full and you're thinking I might not finish it, then at least have the protein first. Then if you're leaving anything, you're going to be leaving some of the carbs at the end, right? But you've filled yourself with protein, so it's good for your Boxing Day lifting session. So that's one thing. Also, water between alcoholic drinks. I think this is just a standard in all meals.
Do you know what's really interesting is I'm baffled by how many people don't do that. Like, everywhere I go, I don't know whether it is a me thing, but I just know how much better I will feel if I have, they usually give you small glasses, just like this one, right? And let's say you've got a beer, just drinking that alongside your beer is not much. And the difference it makes, actually, to also how drunk you get in the period is quite impactful, isn't it?
Yeah. I find it quite infuriating when you're at a dinner party and you have a water glass on the table and a wine glass. and the host is repeatedly filling the wine glass but leaves your water glass empty, and they haven't refilled the water jug. I find it very, very annoying because I'm being forced to just drink the wine for hydration.
Well,
all
you're
the
not
time.
being forced to drink it, but sure.
The key thing is then you've got to get up in the middle of the tent. It feels quite
good neat,
impolite,
though.
but it feels impolite, doesn't it? I suppose in family situations it's better, but if you're in a dinner party at a friend's house, getting up to get the water, you just attract undue attention. So, oh, he's getting the water.
Yeah, but you love attention, so that's probably a good thing.
True. So that's one thing. Then also, I've not, on my stuff it says mindful portions, but I think forget that. It's ridiculous. It doesn't matter. If your plate's full, your plate's full. Just deal with it.
Exactly.
Right? And you don't have to eat everything that's on the plate, right? And then also, make sure that you've got a balance. So obviously roast vegetables, sprouts, all these sort of things, it's good for your digestion. So make sure you've got everything that's possible to put on your Christmas lunch plates. You take it and put it on so you've got balance in the food. Don't just have the turkey and the potato.
Yeah. But I would reiterate kind of what you spoke about with food there. Enjoy Christmas. There's no guilt to it. If you're someone who trains like us all year round, the Christmas period is not a time to be tracking your macros and calories whatsoever. Please just enjoy it.
Yeah. But there was even a study in 2016 by the American Diabetes Association, which says that walking after a large meal improves glucose clearance. So as we all know, you move your muscles, you move your body. It basically it causes filtration of your system. It makes liquids move around you. So actually moving a lot is a good thing to do after your meal. So that's important. And then I also did some checking on, is there a problem with like massive indulgence for 3 days? And it's no problem. So basically, short-term overfeeding for 3 days has almost zero impact on body composition, according to the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition in 2018. So Christmas is not a problem at all. You can indulge as much as you want for 3 days, and actually you almost get sort of overdose of food. And that results in January, you think, I've had too much, I'm going to stop. But actually, that 3-day period over Christmas hasn't had any effect anyway. So it doesn't really matter. And then I did, just for those who do want to know the calorie consumption. So the traditional Christmas Eve, I don't know what in your household, but mince pie, sausage rolls, mulled wine, that in general is about 2,800 calories a person. On Christmas Day, turkey dinner, pudding, cheese, chocolate, bit of wine can be 4,500 calories a person, quite a lot. And then the temporary weight, because a lot of people do weigh themselves, bizarrely. I think it's a stupid idea, do weight themselves after Christmas. And you will find it is common to gain 1 to 2 kilos over that 3-day period. But almost always, it's water retention, not fat. So you are misdiagnosing if you say, I've got fat over Christmas, I ate too much. You just have more water in your body. And you find that you weigh yourself 2 days later and you've not consumed as much, not drunk as much, and actually your weight's naturally gone down. And it's nothing to do with the stuff you had over Christmas.
Absolutely. Have you got any other fascinating Christmas stories you want to share with us, Jim?
Yeah, well, of course, the other thing is I was reading about, is there any story over Christmas that involves weight training? And it was Moses parting the Red Sea. Now, this was actually the first ever story involving progressive overload weight training. So Moses, basically what it was is that I think the Israelites were trying to get from one side to the other. And Moses said, okay, we can't get there because there's a load of water in the way. So I'm going to part the water. And they're like, no way, you can't do that. Come on. And he says, look, God's on my side. I'm going to do it, right? So he lifted this, I think he calls it a staff, into the air. And that was the first example of resistance training because his arm was really starting to hurt. He'd like lifted to failure. But he kept it in the air and he just thought and thought and thought and prayed and prayed and prayed. I mean, literally progressive overload praying. And then the sea started to part. And these Israelites who are watching him, it was like high rocks. they were the first ever spectators in like a weight training competition. So he's lifting the staff in a progressive overload, praying, weight training way. The Israelites are watching him, just like all those guys are watching us in High Rocks. The sea parted, and they said, hey, lads, now's the time, right? So they start running ahead, and that was a bit sort of like cardio in High Rocks. High Rocks originally started because of the whole Moses passing the sea thing. And they ran ahead, and then each prayer just carried on keeping the sea apart. And then they were supposed to be chased by the Egyptians because the Egyptians apparently were trying to catch the Israelites. And then Moses went, boom, and he just basically just dropped the weight. He dropped the staff. And that caused everything to go wrong. And the sea just closed and the Egyptians couldn't get them. So this whole thing about Moses parting the sea, Israelites getting across, and the Egyptians being stuck by the water was basically High Rocks, progressive overload, weight training, everything. And that's how the modern gym story began.
I mean, I will give it to you. You've really outdone yourself there. My goodness. Oh, gosh. What? Anyway, I sometimes it's better to not ask, isn't it, G-Dog? I don't know how you do it. But in terms of, let's have a moment to reflect, not just on 2025, but also reflect on the year ahead. What is something you're really going to focus on in 2026?
So, as ever, I want to get bigger, and I every year I want to feel younger rather than older. And the Live for Life podcast, in my mind, is all about feeling younger as you get older. And in 2026, I'm determined to end the year looking and feeling younger than I was in 2025. And that is going to partly be because I'm physically bigger. So I think my muscle definition I want to increase. I want to get bigger pecs, and it'll make me feel stronger. And that's one important thing. I'm going to push to failure more. I'm definitely going to focus on stepping out of my comfort zone much more. So I think your constant ribbing of me not doing my cold water therapy is going to be a thing of the past. And I am really going to go for it. I mean, I still doubt the efficacy of it, but I'm going to do it anyway because I'm sick of it. And I am determined that you're not going to have that on me anymore. I'm going to do cold water thing involuntarily, literally almost without you knowing I'll be in the cold water. That's one thing. Also, I think I'm going to focus on, I've got a pretty positive mindset already, but I think being even more positive. I think a lot of things have happened this year to make me feel really grateful for things. And I really need to emphasize that gratitude in my day-to-day life. I feel like I have constantly been striving for better, maybe materially, and I need to forget that and strive for better in terms of experiences. So 2026, I think, is going to be, 2025 was pretty amazing, but I think 2026 is going to be the year of major G-Dog experiences.
Wow.
What about you?
I would say similar, and it is kind of frustrating that you've got that turkey hat on because actually that was some really amazing wisdom. So yeah, I think comfort zone is definitely one of the things. I think constantly reminding myself to do more that does make me kind of go, oh, like you with the microphone when we had the headphones on. So that moment, but I think the positive energy we always talk about is something that everyone sees me as Mr. Positive who works with me and who's around me, which is absolutely amazing. But really continue to show up for the people that I love, I think is a vital aspect. But honestly, another thing is more of the same, but just bigger and bigger. And that's with training, that's with my business, that's with the podcast. Like, I'm so adamant about getting this podcast to the top of the charts. And also speaking and doing more with conviction, because when you do, it happens. And I think that's been a real game changer for me in 2025. I've started rather than saying, oh, it'd be nice to do that, it's I'm going to do that. And funnily enough, things do start to move in the right direction when you do that, and continue to surround myself with amazing people.
Yeah. I think, and also to think about people within your social circle that you maybe haven't spent as much time with as you should have done or you could have done maybe, and sort of really focus much more deeply on a small group of people and embed them more into your life. I think that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
I want to really, I think it's important to have a wide network, but a concentrated, close group.
I couldn't agree more. My friendship group has got better and better as tight and smaller as it is really. So I couldn't agree more with
But
that
it is
statement.
very important at the same time to constantly learn new things, and you learn those new things via a wide network. So even small things like, meeting up with people like Johnny and Leo to talk about, whether it's the Overload business or whether it's Leo and his videography, I'm learning so much from it. And I'm realizing that there's so much that obviously you can continue to learn all the way through your life, and just trying to really find as many new people that can help you become better is a really, really cool thing. And your brain definitely benefits from this stimulus of putting yourself in situations where new people educate you and you're not narrow-minded and you learn new things from new people. And that doesn't mean to say you've got to try and find 10 new best friends. It just means that it makes you even more valuable to your core group of friends, the fact that you're learning from a wider circle all the time. And almost like it reminds me of a sort of beehive, where you're a bee, you're sort of buzzing out, finding loads of stuff and then coming back to the hive. And just, if you're the bee that just stays in the hive and stays with your small circle, then you're going to become a bit of a dull person eventually. Whereas if you're a bee that's constantly going out, finding new things and getting the pollen and bringing it back and feeding the hive, then you're becoming a much more interesting, fascinating person, and it's making you feel better as well.
Wow. It's a shame you have that hat on while saying all this wisdom. But I think to really wrap that up, all I'd say is 2026, we go again.
We go again.
That is the saying that I have for life, and I know other people who know me well know that is very much ingrained in me as an individual, with this great hat on as well.
I think we're going to have that clip where you say 2026, we go again, with a reindeer on your head.
Exactly. But it is true. Fire it up. And if anyone listening to this can take anything, talk to yourself differently. There's too many people talking to themselves like absolute trash. And there's too many people who take themselves too seriously and worry about things that really don't matter in life. And there'll be too many people watching this being like, as if they put those hats on. But who cares?
Who cares?
It's for a laugh. Just take yourself less seriously and live life to the fullest, G-Dog.
Happy Christmas.
And on
Angus.
that note, Merry Christmas, G-Dog. Merry Christmas to all the Live for Life podcast listeners. And thank you.
Yeah.
None of this would be possible without you guys. And I'm trying to be really serious with this reindeer, obviously. But no, we're so grateful because it wouldn't be possible without you. So here's to another year of lifting for life.
Absolutely.
Boom. Please like, share, subscribe. Merry Christmas.